name's Ron Waters, the Turkey Killer Kalls. And what you just got to hear is a tube call called the Terminator tube that we make here at Turkey Killer Kalls. This call is probably the most versatile call there is in the woods. And today, we're going to give you several different things and show you how to use it. The versatility of this call is unsurpassed. That means just like you got through here, and you can make every sound that a turkey can make in the woods. The uniqueness of this call is that the sound is the most realistic sound, I believe, of any of the turkey calls made. And the last thing is the ability to control the volume on this call by using my hand as a silencer and shutting it down. Today, we're going to get you started with some key tips, how to blow your call, how to use it when you first get it. I'm going to let her come on in here a little closer, and I'm going to say this. The first thing I want to do is I want to get my top lip over the top of the call with a latex on top. I want to have my bottom lip right where the space is on the call and where the half moon's glued in. Once I get it in this position right here, I'm going to try to blow air down this call, letting the latex and the wooden sound chamber do its job. When you're learning how, if you'll put a straw in your left hand, if you're a right-handed caller, and practice shutting the air off. The key to the whole thing is getting the air shut off so that when you blow air down the tube, you make that sound right there. If the call's too far up in your mouth, it'll sound more like a duck or a chicken. Has to come down. Okay, once you make that sound right there and you get it, again, the important thing is get that air sealed off on the call. At this time, what we're going to do is we're going to go through a few of the basic calls and how we use them. I tell people if you can make these 3 calls on a call, you really don't need anything else, and that's the yelp, the cluck, and the purr. Everything else is kind of window dressing, and we're going to go over how to use them. But on the yelp, once I said, and once you get it placed, and you can make this sound right here, then I'm going to use my breath and my tongue, and I'm going to simulate the yelp of the hen. The most important thing is that faster cadence with the hen. The pitch can go up and down, but the cadence needs to stay the same. All right, that's a yelp. The cluck is much easier. All I do is I'm going to say the word cluck or tuck. I'm going to hit the latex with my tongue. It sounds like this. The third thing is the purr, and the purr is the hardest call of any of them to make. I want to use light pressure. I want to moisten my lips, and I want to take my tongue and go into the latex. All right, we're going to talk about several other calls that we can use that are going to be effective. You don't have to be able to master these, but if you can, it just improves your chances in the woods. The first thing is the cutting of a hen. You can cut too fast, but you can't cut too loud. I'm going to give you a sample of a cut, which is series sounds like this. The next thing we're going to do is a kiki. Kiki is a young hen. You hear more kikis in the fall, but in the springtime, the kiki is a very good call to use. A lot of people ask me, do you use the kiki in the spring? I say, yes, I do. And I'm saying the word pee, pee, pee into the latex. I was ending each one of those with a cluck. The next one we're going to talk about, and it's very good, is the fighting purrs. Similar to the purr, but it's a harder call. At the end of the day, when I've been hunting, if I hadn't had any success, I usually try to use fighting purrs as a challenging call to make a gobbler come on in the gun range. Sounds something like this right here. And I use my hand, like I talked about as a silencer, but I hollow my hand out like this right here, and I use my hand right here at the end when I'm doing the clucks to make it sound like this. That was the fighting purrs. At this time, my friend Bo Smith from Ashland, Alabama, is going to demonstrate how he uses his tube to gobble with it.
To gobble on the turkey killer tube, you just you place it up to your lips just like you would if you were going to yelp or cluck or do any of the other calls, but you want to put a little more pressure with your bottom lip in on top of the latex there. Give you, and just say the word tuck 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 real fast. And one thing I'd like to add is, if you're out in the woods calling, we want to be safe out there, and you are making the sound of a gobbler turkey, and if you're hunting on public land or maybe where there's interference from other hunters, you might want to be real careful out there.
All right, Bo, thank you for that. The last thing I'm going to say is that we have a call that's a wooden call. It's not a plastic aluminum call. We use the highest quality latex we can find. We have a lanyard that's made to go inside the call. The lanyard hole's already drilled out on the call. We make calls in mainly cedar, walnut, poplar, and laminated, but we also have some other things that we use, such as zebra wood and osage and maple. The call comes with a lanyard. It comes with an extra piece of latex. From time to time, this latex is going to wear out. With a mouth call, when you get through using a mouth call, you throw it in the trash can. With one of these, you get one extra piece of latex, and you have a rectangular latex, which has two sides to it. The one I have here on the table is the one I'm going to show you how to change your latex with. The O-ring that comes with it right here is a 20 or a 21 that you find in the parts store. When we get through, I'm going to tell you where you can get latex and O-rings for myself. But once one side of the latex wears out, we're going to flip it over and use the other side. Usually when the latex wears out, they tear over here on the edge, or if they've been over here for a long period of time, they get stretch marks in them or pinholes in them. Then you have to flip them over and change them. The main thing when you're storing the latex, you want to store that extra piece of latex you got in your refrigerator in a plastic bag so that they don't dry rot on you. Keep your call out of a hot car and off the dash of your car in direct sunlight so it doesn't wear it out. But when I'm changing the latex, I just lay the latex down here on the call. I really don't put any tension on it. I like to leave about a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch down here gap on the call. And all I did was pinch that down with my fingers. I actually didn't put any kind of tension on the call. I'm gonna let the O-ring that I lay up here on top, and I roll it from the top to the bottom till I get it down in place. Once I get it in place, I can make that bigger by lifting up on the O-ring and gently pulling up on it. But in this case right here, I got about a 3/8 or a 1/4 of an inch gap, which is a real good gap. If you have any other questions, you can email me at tkm150@hotmail.com, or you can call or text me at 256-846-0671. And remember, the last thing you want to remember about it is if you're not tubing, you're losing. Thank you for purchasing a Turkey Killer Call Terminator tube.